Sidney Crosby is aging like a fine wine.
Offensively, defensively, through the neutral zone, best player in the game.
I'm telling you, the best winner right now, Sidney Crosby.
Welcome to the Crosby Show, Canada.
Slap me, silly, Sidney.
From Rimouski in the Quebec Major Junior League, Sidney Crosby.
Sidney Crosby has already broken American hearts once at the Olympics. 16 years after the golden goal, he is back on the Olympic stage in 2026. Canada has speed. Canada has scoring. But the most important piece of this gold medal run might still be number 87. Sidney Crosby may be Canada's secret weapon for Olympic gold. Team Canada has opened the 2026 tournament with a perfect 3-0 record in the group stage. They secured first place in Group A, including a decisive 5-1 win over Switzerland. Connor McDavid and Nathan MacKinnon have driven the offense. Jordan Binnington has been steady in goal. The NHL stars have returned to Olympic competition for the first time since 2014, and Canada looks deep. But beneath the speed and scoring is something less obvious. Crosby scored his 6th career Olympic goal in the win over Switzerland. It was his first Olympic goal in 12 years. The moment-connected era, from Vancouver to Sochi to Milano-Cortina. While McDavid leads the rush and MacKinnon pushes the pace, Crosby controls the rhythm. That difference matters in tournament hockey. The Olympic format is short. There are no 7-game series. There is no time to adjust after multiple losses. One elimination game can end a gold medal run. In that environment, experience becomes critical. Crosby understands this structure better than most players in the tournament. In 2010, he scored the overtime winner against the United States to secure gold on home ice. In 2014, he captained Canada through a disciplined, defensively dominant tournament in Sochi. Those runs were not built on speed alone. They were built on control. At 2026, Canada has speed in abundance. McDavid may be the fastest player in the world with the puck. MacKinnon's north-south power forces defenders to retreat, but speed without control can become chaotic under pressure. Crosby provides the control. Face-offs are one example. In elimination games, defensive zone draws late in periods carry enormous weight. Crosby's career face-off percentage and his reliability in key situations reduce extended defensive pressure. Winning possession immediately after a whistle limits chaos. Puck protection is another factor. Crosby's ability to shield the puck along the boards buys time for line changes and resets. In tight Olympic games, that small advantage compounds over 60 minutes. Leadership inside the locker room is less visible but equally important. Canada's roster includes generational talents in McDavid and MacKinnon, but neither has won Olympic gold with a full NHL field. Crosby has done it twice. That credibility shapes preparation. The 2026 team blends youth and experience. McDavid drives the offense. MacKinnon generates high shot volume. But when momentum shifts, the bench looks to veterans. In short tournaments, emotional swings can derail structure. Crosby's calm presence reduces that risk. Through 3 group games, Canada has not trailed for extended periods. They have dictated tempo early, but knockout rounds present a different test. The United States remains unbeaten in its group. Sweden plays structured defensive hockey. Finland thrives in tight games. Canada's power play has operated efficiently in the group stage. McDavid and MacKinnon control the half wall. Crosby often positions near the goal line or net front, creating passing angles and screening goaltenders. His awareness in tight spaces extends possession and opens lanes. On the penalty kill, Crosby reads passing lanes and anticipates rebound. Olympic games often swing on special teams. Veteran anticipation reduces breakdown. Jordan Binnington has been steady through the group stage, but goaltending always carries uncertainty in short tournaments. If a game tightens late, leadership on the bench becomes critical. Crosby's communication with line mates and defensemen reinforces structure shift by shift. Another factor is tournament pacing. The Olympic schedule compresses games into short windows. Fatigue builds quickly. Crosby's style relies less on raw speed and more on positioning and anticipation. That efficiency preserves energy over multiple rounds. Canada's 3-0 start signals strong preparation. The 5-1 win over Switzerland highlighted offensive depth. McDavid recorded 3 points. MacKinnon recorded 3 points. Secondary scoring contributed, but beneath the numbers, the team maintained defensive shape. That balance reflects veteran influence. The return of NHL participation elevates the overall talent level of the tournament. The gap between contenders narrows. Sweden, Finland, and the United States all bring elite play. player. In that environment, marginal advantages matter. Crosby's Olympic experience is one of those margins. He understands that elimination hockey compresses space. He understands that referees manage games differently under medal pressure. He understands that early goals can change strategy entirely. Canada's path to gold will not rely solely on highlight reel rushes. It will require managing momentum, closing out tight periods, and executing special teams. Through the group stage in Milano-Cortina, Canada has shown speed, scoring depth, and defensive structure. As the tournament shifts into knockout rounds, those strengths remain essential. But in Olympic history, Canada's gold medal runs have often been defined by composure in defining moments. In 2010, it was Crosby finishing the tournament. In 2014, it was Crosby captaining a disciplined roster. In 2026, it may be Crosby guiding a new generation through pressure. McDavid drives the attack. MacKinnon fuels the tempo. Binnington guards the net. And Sidney Crosby, once again, may be the steady force that turns talent into gold.
Canada opens their chase for Olympic gold with a 5-0 win over Czechia. And here to talk about it is Marty Biron. So, Marty, right off the bat, what was the biggest reason for this Canada win?
Well, I look at the skill level, right? Team Canada's skill level, when you look at the forwards, is like, and unlike any other teams, like they are so far and above beyond like any teams in the tournament.
Silence fell over the arena as Team Canada did more than win. They sent a message. Sidney Crosby didn't just wear the captain. He controlled the pace, the bench, and the moment. 5 goals, 0 against. A shutout that shook Czechia. But what happened behind the plays showed why this captaincy could change the entire Olympic tournament.
Team Canada, they're only going to get better from here. They were really sharp. They had things really figured out in the offensive zone, and that is only going to get better. That's only going to become more dangerous for the opposition as this tournament goes on.
Sidney Crosby entered the 2026 Winter Olympics as captain of Team Canada. Hockey Canada officially named him captain before the tournament began. This marked his return to Olympic play after more than a decade. He previously won gold medals in 2010 and 2014. In 2010, he scored the overtime goal that secured Canada's gold medal. Now he was back in charge of a new generation. Canada opened the tournament with a 5-0 win over Czechia. The result was clear and dominant. Nathan MacKinnon scored. Bo Horvat added a goal. Nick Suzuki scored. Mark Stone contributed. 19-year-old Macklin Celebrini also scored in his Olympic debut. The scoring came from multiple lines. That showed depth and structure across the roster. Connor McDavid served as alternate captain. He recorded 3 assists in the game against Czechia. His passing directly led to goals. After the match, McDavid spoke about Crosby's leadership. He described Crosby as a calming presence. That quote reflected how the leadership group functioned inside the locker room. Jordan Binnington started in goal and stopped all 26 shots he faced. The shutout prevented Czechia from gaining momentum. Canada did not allow a goal in any period. The defensive coverage stayed organized. Players blocked lane. They limited rebound. That level of control reflected preparation and discipline. Head coach John Cooper addressed the team's mindset after the game. He noted that the group did not act with entitlement despite its star talent. He emphasized unity and collective effort. His comments connected leadership to team culture. Crosby's role extended beyond scoring. As captain, he led bench communication and shift management. Olympic tournaments move quickly. Early games shape standings and confidence. The 5-0 result placed Canada in a strong position in group play. The game against Czechia was Canada's first Olympic appearance with NHL players since 2014. Expectations were high. The performance matched those expectations. 5 goals scored, 0 allowed. 3 assists from McDavid, 26 saves from Binnington. Crosby returned to Olympic ice as captain. The opening win showed structure, control, and leadership from the first puck drop. The impact of Crosby's captaincy was confirmed even before the puck drop. When Hockey Canada announced him as captain, they reported that he had already won 2 Olympic gold medals. That history placed him as the most experienced leader on the roster. His return connected the 2010 and 2014 championship teams to the 2026 squad. Connor McDavid's 3 assists were direct factors in the scoring play. He did not score, but he influenced multiple goals. His role as alternate captain supported Crosby's leadership. After the game, McDavid again referred to Crosby as a calming presence. That remark carried weight inside a roster filled with NHL captains and all-stars. Crosby's Olympic record added context to his authority. In 2010, he scored the overtime gold medal goal in Vancouver. In 2014, he captained Canada to another gold medal in Sochi. His leadership in those tournaments remains documented in Olympic record. Now, in 2026, he leads again. Head coach John Cooper stated that the team played without entitlement. He emphasized that star power alone does not win games. The 5-0 result came from structured play and discipline. Canada scored in different situations and maintained defensive balance. 5 separate players scored against Czechia. That spread of offense showed depth. The shutout showed defensive control. The captaincy decision placed Crosby at the center of both. The opening game established Canada's position in the tournament standing. It also reinforced the leadership hierarchy announced before the Olympics began. The structure held firm from the first shift to the final horn.
For the captain of Team USA, Austin Matthews, where does he slot in terms of players feeling pressure and expectations coming into this tournament?
I think he's at the top of the list. I really do. I think for a number of reasons. What you just said about the history of USA Hockey. Like, they have to pounce. They believe in their program. They're a great program. They're a great team. They should have gold medal ambitions, right? They had championship ambition at the Four Nations faceoff, and they got all the way to overtime, and they almost got it done.
The road to Olympic gold in Milano-Cortina will not be easy. 2 hockey giants, Canada and the United States, are bringing superstar talent, heavy pressure, and huge expectations. But this tournament may come down to just 2 names, Cale Makar and Austin Matthews. One controls the ice from the blue line. The other carries a nation's hopes on his stick. As the Milano-Cortina Winter Olympics get closer, the spotlight is shining bright on men's hockey. Fans are excited because this is best on best hockey, the world's top NHL stars playing for their countries. For Canada and Team USA, the stakes feel even higher. Both teams are loaded with talent, but their paths to gold may depend on very different X factors.
Studded talent, but there's got to be one player, Brian, you have in mind who you feel will be the most important for Canada as we get set to start this Olympic tournament on Thursday.
Yeah, I think it's Cale Makar. I do. I think it's Cale Makar, and I think it's Makar by a landslide, Jay. I really do. And I know people are going to look to the goaltending, and I understand that. It's a prominent position. They still have to figure out exactly who that guy's going to be. And I know McDavid's important, and MacKinnon's important, and obviously the captain, Sidney Crosby. But I think the drop-off from Cale Makar to whoever you believe is the second best, most impactful defenseman on this team is a massive discrepancy. Much more of a discrepancy between McDavid and MacKinnon.
For Team Canada, one player stands above the rest in importance, and it's not Connor McDavid or Sidney Crosby. The biggest difference maker could be defenseman Cale Makar. That might sound surprising because Canada has so many superstar forwards. But hockey is not just about scoring. It's about controlling the whole game, offense, defense, and transition. That's where Makar becomes priceless. Analyst Brian Hayes calls Makar Canada's most important player because of what he calls the gap theory. This means the talent drop between Makar and the next Canadian defenseman is much bigger than the gap at forward positions. If McDavid has a quiet game, Nathan MacKinnon can step up. If Crosby slows down, other elite centers can fill minutes. But on defense, there is no true replacement for Makar's skill set. Makar does everything at an elite level. He skates like a forward, defends like a veteran shutdown player, and runs the power play with calm control. He moves the puck out of danger faster than almost anyone in the world. That ability helps Canada spend less time defending and more time attacking. In Olympic hockey, where games are tight and mistakes matter, that puck movement is gold. Because of his value, experts believe Makar could play huge minutes, maybe even 30 minutes in a gold medal game. That's half the game. Very few players can handle that load without breaking down. But Makar's conditioning, hockey IQ, and skating allow coaches to trust him in every situation, even strength, power play, and penalty kill. Health, however, is the one shadow hanging over Canada. Makar previously missed the Four Nations face-off due to injury. That absence showed how vulnerable Canada can look without him. Their breakouts were slower. Defensive coverage looked shakier. If Canada wants Olympic gold, they likely need Makar healthy from start to finish. Without him, their championship odds drop fast. While Canada's pressure sits on one defenseman, Team USA's pressure centers on one forward, Captain Austin Matthews. This tournament tournament could define Matthews' legacy. Team USA has not won Olympic gold in the NHL best-on-best era, which began in 1998. That drought hangs heavy over American hockey. Many believe this current roster is the strongest the U.S. has ever iced. Deep, fast, and skilled at every position. Because Matthews is the captain and biggest superstar, the spotlight burns hottest on him. He will be expected to score in big moments, lead emotionally, and deliver when games are on the line. That's where the pressure builds, because fair or not, Matthews carries a reputation for not always being clutch in the biggest games. If the U.S. falls short, especially if Matthews struggles offensively, the criticism will be loud. Fair or unfair, captains carry the emotional weight of wins and losses. That's the burden of leadership. Matthews isn't just playing for medals, he's playing for legacy. What makes this Canada versus USA storyline so compelling is the contrast in pressure points. Canada's hopes may rest on a defenseman controlling the entire flow of the game. Their success depends on structure, transition, and blue line dominance through Makar. The United States' hopes may rest on a goal scorer delivering signature moments. Their success could hinge on Matthews finishing chances and leading the offense when it matters most. It's control versus clutch, structure versus scoring, blue line versus goal line. And when these teams collide, those storylines will crash together on the ice. Olympic hockey always creates heroes. Sometimes it's expected stars, sometimes it's unlikely names. But heading into Milano-Cortina, two players sit closest to the pressure spotlight. If Cale Makar dominates minutes, drives possession, and shuts down opposing attacks, Canada's gold path becomes clear. If Austin Matthews scores timely goals, leads confidently, and breaks America's gold drought, he changes his career narrative forever. That's why this Olympic tournament feels so massive. Not just for nations, but for legacies. Because in the end, gold medals don't just crown teams, they define players.
Is Team USA, and I think they've got the easiest group. Easily the easiest group. And so they might be a sleeper to be the #1 seed in the tournament because of it. Like, sure. It's a really, really easy go.
This is the quiet reality of the 2026 Winter Olympics. Team USA has entered the tournament with less fanfare than Canada, and that has shaped early perception. They are being viewed as secondary contenders, but depth, defensive mobility, and prime age production suggest the competitive balance may be closer than assumed. And once the roster is examined closely, it becomes clear Team USA is far better than most people think. The idea that the United States enters Milan as a step behind is rooted more in reputation than structure. Canada carries historical gold medals and generational name. That history dominates coverage. Yet Olympic tournaments are not decided by legacy. They are decided by roster balance, deployment stability, and execution under compressed conditions. Leadership stability defines the American approach. USA Hockey named Austin Matthews as captain for the Milano-Cortina game. Charlie McAvoy and Matthew Tkachuk were selected as alternate captain. This structure mirrors the leadership group deployed in recent international competition. There was no overhaul following their most recent international loss. No reactionary shift in identity. The same core remains intact. Matthews enters the Olympics in his prime years. In recent NHL seasons, he recorded a 60-goal campaign and consistently ranked among league leaders in shot generation and two-way impact. His usage extends beyond scoring. He handles defensive zone deployments, late-game shifts, and matchup responsibilities against elite centers. The captaincy formalizes his role as a central pillar of the roster. The most recent international comparison between the United States and Canada came in the Four Nations face-off final. Canada won 3-2 in overtime. The difference was a single goal beyond regulation. The United States did not surrender control of the game. It did not concede structurally. It pushed the tournament favorite into sudden death. Over time, margins reflect parity. The result demonstrated that the gap between these two rosters is narrow. One defensive read, one power play sequence, one bounce separated the teams. The structural framework held. Defensive construction may be the most underappreciated advantage on this roster. Quinn Hughes, Adam Fox, and Charlie McAvoy anchor a blue line built for modern international play. Hughes and Fox have each produced elite offensive numbers from the defensive position in recent NHL seasons. Both have been 7 finalists for the Norris Trophy. McAvoy provides physicality, defensive reliability, and penalty kill deployment against top line. International hockey rewards defensemen who retrieve pucks efficiently and exit the zone under pressure. Larger ice surfaces create more lateral space. Teams that move the puck cleanly reduce extended defensive zone time. The American defensive core is constructed around mobility and transition speed. Depth extends through all 3 defensive pairings. No single pairing carries disproportionate responsibility. Each unit can handle offensive zone activation and defensive zone containment. In condensed tournaments, this reduces fatigue and limits matchup exposure. Goaltending may represent the clearest measurable advantage. Compared to the ongoing debate surrounding Canada's crease, the United States enters the Olympics with stronger recent NHL regular season metrics among its projected starters. American goaltenders have posted higher save percentages and more consistent performance trends in recent seasons. Stability in the crease removes distraction. Olympic tournaments hinge on limited game. Clear deployment hierarchy reduces mid-event uncertainty. The United States does not enter Milan facing questions about its starting goaltender. Preparation remains uninterrupted. No single American line carries the burden of generating offense alone. Deployment flexibility allows the coaching staff to maintain pace across 4 lines. Balanced usage reduces fatigue entering elimination round. The Olympic format amplifies these structural traits. NHL participation returns after a 12-year absence. Many players across all nations are making Olympic debuts. Prior Olympic